military? Guns. The military-industrial complex. Let's talk about it. Specifically, the practices of one contractor, Lockheed Martin. Here's a quote from Dwight Eisenhower warning against the military-industrial complex. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influences, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together. Let's talk stats. This is the U.S. spending by category. And as you can see, this big green area is half of it, and it's the military. 765 billion. Let's compare that to, I don't know, food. It's 1%, 15 billion. Yeah, can you believe it? Education, 6%. Can you believe it? Ridiculous numbers here, people. Let's get it together. In the last year, Lockheed Martin has made $50 billion just from selling to foreign countries. And this could pose a problem, if they're selling to countries like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Israel, places in Latin America and Singapore, because whether they intend for it or not, wrong people get their hands on these weapons. Another big issue with the sales of companies like Lockheed Martin is price gouging. They're selling guns to governments, and they're overcharging them by millions of dollars. The Pentagon analyzed that the profits that these guys get was upwards of 40%. Just for comparison, one contract saved $550 million when they changed it. And there's some dangers when we talk about money. What is the goal of these industries? Why are they price gouging weapons made for killing people? By merging industry and war, it makes it so people think that war equals money. There's thousands of treaties between Lockheed Martin and the US government, which make it so they're almost actually part of the government while working for these other countries as well. But there's another side of the argument as well. The Pope hates the military-industrial complex, Lockheed Martin included. He says that war is piecemeal nowadays. Happens here and there. There could be just reasons for war, but nowadays that's just not the case. And now, especially with the military-industrial complex, war is made about money. That's a false god, people. That's a commandment broken. Right there. Now that we got some stats and some different perspectives out of the way, I'm sure you all want to know what I think about it. Well, let's just get it started with you listen to me. It is terrible though. Price gauging, charging millions of more dollars, profiteering off of it, off the sales of weapons, meant to kill people. And I do agree that nowadays the cause of war really is money. And I'm sure these companies are in full support when war happens. Now let's talk about, what obligation do I have to stop this, or what power? And I truly believe that, it's really hard to do anything about the situation. It's gone so wide scale that I don't think one person alone has any power over it. Neither does a lot of people. Obviously, there's a lot of critiques about the military-industrial complex. I mean, you hear about it all the time. The military-industrial complex has been a disaster for the human race. But I do think by being in the industry, you can make a change. For example, if I, a young man, starting to be an engineer, were to end up one day working for these defense industries and, having a high seat, I could bring up some ethical issues. And as long as, they don't pin me as a whistleblower, then I think I can make a big change. And you could too. Thank you. And this was my deep analysis of the practices of Lockheed Martin.